I'm leaving Hong Kong for a quick trip. I'm privileged to have friends all over the world, and fortunate to live in the center of the universe, so everywhere is within easy reach. So off I go once more to explore Terra Australis Incognita, the southern land that nobody knows about. Well, I'm floating over it. It's a big place. I'm riding the flying kangaroo. There it is on the wing. It's famous for its great service and happy flight attendants. So 9 hours later, I'm landing in Brisbane, and there's not a cloud to be seen. First trip is with my old friend Stuart, and he's treating me to an Australian delicacy at Sandstone Point, just across from the illustrious Bribie Island. It's actually my favorite eating place. At the Sandstone, just overlooking Bribie Island, and about to have some nice lamb.
Just a plain old burger.
So you got the old burger.
The old Wagyu beef burger.
How do you confuse an American?
How?
You ask him why they call it a hamburger when there's no ham in it.
Good question. So
I followed in Mary's footsteps and had a little lamb. The legendary ibis, sacred in ancient Egypt, was clearing up after the guests. Believe it or not, it's considered a nuisance here. I wouldn't be surprised if it didn't start appearing on the menu. The view from here is across the Pumice-Stone Passage to Bribie, now crossed by a bridge, built in 1963. Before that, there was a ferry. The bridge certainly opened up this beautiful island for everybody to enjoy. In recent times, Sandstone Point is the venue of music concerts. The Glasshouse Mountains reminding us that this is what Captain Cook saw as he neared the unknown 200 years ago, and an Aborigine pointed and said, "Oh no, here come the boat people." The rest is history. Today, Jed, another old friend that I've known for over 30 years, is driving me for lunch in Mooloolaba, and then we'll have a leisurely drive back to Caboolture. No worries. We're there in an hour. Every time I come here, I want to buy an apartment overlooking the sea and retire here. Jed told me I can buy an apartment up there for $300,000 US. But I didn't have that much on me. This is Jackie.
This is the best place in town.
Jackie was delightful, enticed us to eat, so we got a coffee and ordered the special of the day, stir-fried crispy noodles with ribeye steak. We didn't need much enticing. Thank you, Jackie. You were fantastic. Well, in Mooloolaba again, Sunshine Coast on a beautiful sunny day. We've just had a great meal and just exploring the town a little bit. It's been an exquisite visit. As we continued, I was glad we'd already eaten. We're on our way back home down the coast. First stop, Caloundra, where Jed used to visit as a boy a millennium ago. A beautiful location, what a beach. People say Hawaii is better than the Sunshine Coast, but that's because they've never been here. The place is splendid, quiet, peaceful, relaxing, the antithesis of my home in Hong Kong, especially right now. The trip has become a tradition, and I always enjoy it. One of the things about coming here is that the season is also the opposite to Hong Kong. September here is spring, Hong Kong it's autumn. To travel here is thus always a change. We had a great day. Thank you, Jed. Tomorrow I have another lunch appointment with another good friend, Joshua, all the way from Kerala in South India. One thing about the Sunshine Coast is that every morning when I'm waking up, it's just a beautiful blue sky, usually not a cloud in the sky, beautiful temperature, and thoroughly enjoyable and great for photography. Oh, I do like to be beside the seaside. Joshua asked me, "Where do you want to eat?" So we did Sandstone again. I've been coming to Australia for over 40 years, and it is indeed one of the travel world's best kept secrets. My own theory of why it doesn't rival many places as a tourist destination is the simple fact that it takes about 9 hours to get here from most places. But if you're in Asia, come on down. It's better than China, as 1.2 million Chinese immigrants clearly demonstrate. This immigrant from Africa was loved in his native country of Guinea. That's the problem, they loved it roasted. Here, for the time being, it's off the menu. It's valued because it eats bugs and deters snakes, clearly doing a good job. Meanwhile, we're enjoying the view. The pleasing ambience of this splendid place, and the delectable food. Then off to the beach at Wurrum. Wurrum Beach. Dog friendly, to a point, that is. Our plan is to find a quiet place with no people around and fly the drone. Actually, loggerhead turtles nest here in late November on this very beach. Australia is certainly a wildlife paradise. So let's fly the kite. Let the eagle soar. Get a bird's eye view. I never cease to be amazed by drone shots. Another great day in the land of Oz. Thank you, Joshua. Today I'm with my old friends of more than 30 years, and we're about to do something that I've never done before. We're about to take a drive along the coast of Bribie Island on the beach. Driving down the beach in a four-wheel drive is not an easy thing. The first thing one has to do is to deflate the tires.
They're like tanks.
Everybody's letting down their tires. The softer tires have a greater surface area and a better grip, both on the dry sand and the soft wet sand. What do we have to get it down to, 20?
22.
22.
Crocodile Bribie.
So what happens when you come
And
back?
we're going to show this man from Hong Kong some crocodiles. If we can't find any crocodiles, we may carpet snakes, brown snakes, vicious kangaroos, drop bears, koala bears, a few humans, some dingoes.
So I'm English, Stu is Canadian, and Jed and Kim are Aussies. Here maybe because their ancestors were kicked out of miserable, rainy, cold England and sent to warm, sunny Australia for misbehaving. A little like giving a child an ice cream for being naughty. They're on their best behavior because the punishment for being naughty in Australia is to be sent back to England. Getting tired of them bragging about the weather, I quickly made the profound assertion that we have more sunny days in England than they have rainy days in Oz. Right, well, we're on Bribie Island and we've just been coming down the dunes and we're having a ball. This is the gang, Cam and Stewie and Jed. They're my old friends. They're all old, as you can see.
Yeah. We're too soon old and too late smart. We're just going to head out. The water you see behind us is a freshwater lake. It's only a few hundred meters from the ocean, and it's got black water, sort of gray-brown water. It's come from the tea trees, and it's looks like coffee or tea, but it don't taste like coffee or tea.
How do you know that?
You've tried it?
I've tried it.
I think it tastes like iced tea.
Tried it.
But it's just the natural foliage of the tea tree itself. The leaves falling in, it turns the water sort of a tea-colored brown. It's quite good to drink. There's nothing wrong with it. It's fresh and it's good. It's just the color of it.
They get to know 4 or 5.
So Stewie actually tried it. Yeah, so Stewie's going to try the water, just have it just tell me what it's like, Stewie. Just
Yeah,
give
it's a bit brackish, it's a bit black, it's not poisonous, there's nothing wrong with it. Snakes haven't peed in it or anything like that, so it should be good. I'll just test it.
Right, just do it. Here we go. Yeah.
I told you there was nothing wrong with it. It's perfectly good.
Oh, it's staying there now.
Yeah, where did you get that hat? Yeah. Yeah. So we continue the journey, Kim giving us some fun. We're actually heading for a nice place to stop and eat.
That's probably the extent of the lake, I'd say.
Suddenly we came across some fishermen. In fact, it was a family business, and we stopped to say hi and share the fun. The fish are tailor fish, and no, they don't make suits. They're called that because they have sharp teeth that can cut through the net. So don't stick your fingers in their mouths. I reckon there were a few hundred in the net, caught using the Sen method of fishing from the shore. They're good eating fish, but don't freeze well. So eat them fresh, deep fried, pan fried, baked or smoked, or raw if you're Japanese.
We never reach our quota because they closed all the
How long you been here?
My family's been fishing for 200 years
Wow.
in this area.
What did you get, Kim?
Four tailor.
Is it enough for us all?
It'll be enough for us all. I don't have to throw my line in now.
Is there one for Paul?
That's the easiest bit of fishing that I've done here.
What happens if I want two?
No, you don't get two,
Yeah.
mate. You
Don't get
get one each.
Is it enough for you, Paul?
Thank you.
3 hours.
He gave us a whole fish each. We soon reached the place where we would eat. But first things first, I want to get a bird's eye view. So I send up the bird to show me what he can see. Great views. Bribie is a sand island, and the beach runs the whole length. So it's 34 kilometers long. That's a long beach. As Stu said, there are a number of wild animals here, including kangaroos and dingoes, but actually no crocodiles here. They're farther north. It's a beautiful coastline. There are few beaches in the world like it. important part of an odyssey is not the destination, but what we have to do to get there. Having said that, we are about to eat. There are more important things than food, but none of us knows what they are. There's not a Coolabah tree in sight, so we set up the shade. I'm filming. This is the director's chair, and I'm trying out new music on my films. Tell me what you think. Kim has done this many times before, and all the necessary necessities are in the back of his truck. We are not alone. The men in black are passing, and an Aborigine is not far away playing his didgeridoo. You can hear it. The food is awaiting its fate.
Yes. This is
Bribie
the
Island
food.
Gourmet Cafe.
This is the importance.
Yeah.
On the horizon, a container ship passes, and its captain enviously watches us through his binoculars. The containers contain rice for China and lamb for Mary. We're parked up next to number 1 gun battery, built in World War II to protect not from the threat of alien invasion, but Japanese invasion. It's now known as Fort Bribie and is a national relic of the past. The daily roster board's still here, and a photo of what it used to look like. The quarters downstairs. At this point, we all contemplated the ocean and the 20-mile beach stretching into the distance. Both ways. As the men in black, now on jet skis, continue their search, I presume for aliens. Stewie is intrigued by it all. I've asked him to say something profound, and he's thinking what to say.
Well, Paul, this has been a beautiful day. We've had a lot of hospitality from Kim. He brought us up here on his four-wheel drive. He made dinner for us, set up the camp, and we're out here on beautiful Bribie Island. We've come about 40 miles up the beach, and the tide is coming in now, so that we're going to have to go back the other way, back on sort of a rougher sand. You can't see a lot off the coast today. You can see islands off the coast, but because of the bushfires that are inland have been kind of polluting the air a little bit. But it's been a glorious day. It's about 27 degrees, and the water here has probably got a temperature of about 21 degrees. We're really blessed to live in this country. I'm originally from Canada. I lived here now for 48 years. I love Australia. I love this part of the country. I couldn't think of a better place in the world to live. We got a great environment. We got a very stable government. We've got great friends. We have great friends from overseas, like Paul, who comes every year. We have a Christian fellowship, and you couldn't ask for anything better.
It's indeed a pleasure to come here. I've been coming to Australia since 1978, over 40 years, and coming here to Sunshine Coast since 1988, so these guys and their families really are old friends.
Hey, we're having a ball, Paul.
Yes,
Paul, you need to come back. We'll have more fun next year.
Kim is actually planning to take us to Fraser Island next year. Crocodiles, snakes, and kangaroos, and that's just the food. Many people drive their four-wheel drive vehicles here, and it's a popular beach in many ways.
Every 200 or 300 meters is a vehicle parked. They'll have their tarpaulins out, and the people will be sitting around in their camp chairs. They'll be playing cricket. They could be playing soccer, playing with frisbees. Children will be building sand castles, and everybody's peaceful. Everybody's friendly. If you get your truck bogged, you'll have 3 or 4 probably other four-wheel drivers that come along with all their equipment to try and get you out.
Love the sound of the tires. Kim then showed me where the recent fires here were. It had been devastated. 2 weeks ago they had a big fire here, and this is the result of it. As I edit this film, the fires are raging in New South Wales. It's a great concern. Many homes destroyed and even lives lost. We're praying for rain. There's about 1 million flies around at this time. Just up the beach, the remains of a loggerhead turtle. This is one of their nesting grounds. So finally back to the car park. Kim rigs up the compressed air to reflate the tires. What came out must go back in. Now that was an adventure. Loved it. I'm now in for a treat. My good friend Ian, who usually drives me to Brisbane at the end of my annual odyssey, has invited me to spend a day in the mountains with his wife Irene and him, with the promise of seeing wildlife and beautiful scenery. This is the view from his balcony, and the promise of seeing wildlife is soon made good. Right underneath the balcony, Ian called me and shouted, "You're in luck." When I peered over the balcony, there was this beautiful kangaroo. I named him Rupert, and he's clearly disturbed at the sight of me. This is the defensive pose, akin to a woman putting both her hands on her hips and staring intently. Watch out. What a beautiful view. Next morning, feeling exhilarated, it was great to look out from the balcony. It's tremendous just to wake up in this beautiful environment and place. This time Australia, Glasshouse Mountains. It's just beautiful. I'm privileged to have friends like Ian and Irene. Hospitality at its best. I even get my own self-contained apartment with a great view. First things first, Coffee time. Then upstairs to chat with Irene while she gets breakfast. It's a little cool for a swim, but time to fly. Now I can appreciate the extraordinary Australian countryside. The chance to get a different perspective. In these parts, when your neighbour is a mile away, they're considered close. Any more wildlife? I think that's a camel. One of over 1 million feral camels in Australia. As usual, the final part of my Oz Odyssey is to drive to Brisbane to see my old friends John and Elsie Marriott and Liz and the kids. Ian always takes me the scenic route that takes us past Somerset Lake and Wivenhoe. And the eagles. This is the nest, and here comes the eagle. That's the best shot I could get. Next place is Kilcoy. Quick stop. And then on to Somerset Lake, created by damming the Stanley River to supply water to Brisbane and generate hydroelectric power, but also to mitigate flooding farther down the valley. This is the actual Somerset Dam. So a chance to see a little of Australia. Next stop, Lake Wivenhoe, a place where koala bears are often seen. But we didn't have time to look. Koalas here? But there's a pelican down there. After about 2.5 hours, we arrived. So some last drone shots for John and Elsie. They're old friends from both Guernsey and London. And we used to play golf together, even in Australia. He's been many places with me, and I always make the trip to see him when I visit. His home, right on the banks of the Brisbane River, a delightful part of the world. Next morning, Liz drove me to the airport. It had been another wonderful trip, both because of the chance to meet up with old friends, but also to enjoy this unique land. It's a great airport. Traveling Qantas as usual. Last glimpses of Brisbane. Eight hours later, I landed in Hong Kong. A great trip. Loved it.